Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome to a new episode of the Stuff and Things Podcast. I am Sam, talking to you today about Andor. Joining me, having fun in the Star Wars universe, is my partner in crime. It's Stefan.
How we doing?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. And you?
I'm good. I resisted the whole hello there because
Hello there.
Well
exactly.
done. I'm proud of you. We are talking Andor. It is season 1. It is episode 10. The title of the episode was
One way out. One way out. One way out. I liked it. It was good.
Me too. Overall thoughts of the episode?
I was really worried about how they were going to do the prison breakout scene.
Yeah.
Like, it was going to be epic. It was going to be epic, which meant it could be an absolute rubbish. And everyone would have sat there and gone, no. But it was great.
I loved it. Absolutely loved it. We are going to come to that. So, I want to start with talking about events on Cassian's. I'm going to say homeworld. I know it's not his home, but it's where his mother is.
Close enough.
We get one little scene, but I think it's important because they took the time to put it in there. Yep. She is still being watched by both the ISB and the rebels.
Yep.
Both of them looking to, ISB looking to capture Cassian, whereas the rebels are actually looking to kill him.
Yeah, actually at the moment it's better to be found by the Empire.
Yeah. Right now, that's it. So they gave us that. I think it's worth us all acknowledging it because it clearly, we got a couple of episodes left in the season. I fear that Cassian's likely to want to see his mum and is going to walk right into that. But so we have that there. On Coruscant, the senator has this meeting with. I'm guessing this guy is like some kind of gangster from her home world. Would you say that seems to sum him up?
Yeah, he does seem to have that kind of, we run this area, but lots of things under the books and stuff. It's like, you're like the godfather of the area, right? Okay.
Yeah, well, when they kind of mentioned him before, she was very hesitant. Didn't really want to. I don't want to have dealings with this guy. Yeah. Definitely don't want him in my home. And her like old friend, like from her planet, was like, "Look, this is what we got to do. It's our only way of dealing with this." Now she is confronted by him, and he seems very amenable. Doesn't want to take a fee. Now it's an interesting thing because you just mentioned the Godfather there, that kind of mafiosa stuff. It's like, I'll do this favor for you, but then you're going to owe me a favor. Now, being a senator, I imagine the idea of owing someone like that a favour is just a massive no-no.
You would feel like that's not something that they're going to really kind of go for too quickly.
No, and so she kind of just keeps pushing it like, no, I'm not going to owe you a favour on this. I'd rather pay you a fee. And he's not interested, but then he kind of raises what he'd like to happen, which is, he's like, I'd like to come here again. She's like, oh, okay.
We could arrange that, I'm sure.
It's like, and I'd like to bring my son, who's 14.
Now, I'll be honest with you, this didn't click straight away for me.
Well, it only kind of clicked for me because of the way it was delivered. If he'd said, I just want to bring my teenage son, I'd have just been like, okay, that sounds nice, wants to show him around Coruscant. But it's the way he said, who's 14, I was kind of like, this is clearly a matchmaking thing. Because the thing that we've worked out is obviously she is from a very, very wealthy family. So from the planet she's on, clearly this is a family with a big name, a big reputation. And this guy's sort of someone who's slummed it and clearly thinks to himself, well, if I, intersperse my son with the daughter, that's me raising my family name up out of the dirt. And, basically, that appears to be the idea. At least that's my interpretation. What did you think?
Yeah, like I say, at first I didn't clock it. I was kind of like, this is weird. Okay, why would he want to... Oh, God, he's not going to try and set her up with the... Oh, that's a bit weird. And then I kind of went, oh, no, wait a minute. He is setting someone up.
Yeah.
But it's... okay.
Senator shoots it down hard. Like, no.
Heck yeah.
And he's like, oh, it's okay, I'll leave. You got a lot to think about. She's like, no, I'm not thinking about it. It's just a no.
Yeah.
I fear there's a lot to think about because she is very much going to be on the Empire's radar the minute they look at her accounts, unless she does something, and this appears to be her only option.
Yeah.
So we know that she doesn't seem to have the greatest relationship with her daughter. Her daughter seems to be quite resentful about how busy her mother is.
Yeah, what could go wrong there?
Yeah, exactly. And her father seems to stoke that. Like, he quite likes having the daughter on his side.
Yeah.
And like we said up to now, the guy just doesn't come across well. He appears to be very enjoying the high life of his station. No real empathy. He just doesn't seem a lot to him. And she clearly doesn't trust him with everything that's going on and what she's doing.
No.
So... That's kind of...
It's got a question like, that's their marriage and their relationship. She doesn't trust him at all with this.
No.
She hasn't got the daughter on side. The daughter is very much on his side.
Yeah.
Anything that could go wrong, potentially will go wrong. And then all of a sudden, where is it going to leave her?
Yeah. No, I agree. It's... Right, I mean, and this guy, like this gangster guy, even says, like, oh, I've met your husband a few times. It kind of feels like this is going to be very problematic.
Yes.
But it's setting up quite nicely. It's moving. The story's moving on every episode. You're kind of like, oh, this is getting dicey.
2 episodes left?
2 episodes of the season, yeah.
Of this season, and obviously the next season we now know will kind of go over a couple of years.
Yeah.
So a lot can still happen in these 2 episodes, that's for sure.
Oh, massive amounts, yeah, definitely. The other thing that's happening on Coruscant is we catch up with the ISB. Now, the ISB have successfully carried out their operation where this ship was scuttled and made it look like an accident killed the pilot. There's a great scene where they're kind of overlooking it and stuff, and one of the ISB agents says, suggestion, sir, the best thing we can do is operate as usual. If this happened on any other day, we would investigate, so we have to go and do that. If they're monitoring it, that's the right thing to do. And I was kind of like looking at that, I was like, that makes sense. But the woman who's kind of not running things, but the woman who's kind of driving this, did you notice she gave him a real fast kind of look when he suggested it? And initially, my thought was, she's pissed he said this. She's pissed she didn't think of it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That was my go-to was like, oh, he's upstaged her.
Yeah.
That's not going to go down well for him because she seems to be very much kind of like, I'm in charge.
And she seems to almost kind of like strop off, in that moment. And so during that scene, that's kind of everything I took from it. But of course, one of the things I am loving about this show is this kind of intelligence, counter-intelligence, espionage aspect.
Yeah.
And me and you both talked about, I wonder if there's someone in the ISB.
Yeah.
And it turns out, yes, there is. And it's this guy. And this guy has signals Luthen. And Luthen's assistant, again, by the way, is just like, nope, no, too risky, absolutely not.
Don't be a dick. Yeah.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that relationship? Because it doesn't appear to be kind of commander and subordinate. It appears to be almost like a partnership.
Yeah, I always thought he was in charge.
It's certainly... I mean, don't get me wrong. I've worked with people, even though I was in charge.
You're not in charge.
You'd never, you'd have never guessed the way people spoke. But
yeah,
it feels to me like those two are actually kind of level pegging in this, but at the same time they're playing their role of shop owner, shopkeeper.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I say, to begin with, I thought it was all kind of he was the one in charge and she was kind of like just his assistant. But the more this kind of goes into it, the more you think to yourself, They've got to be more of a level playing field here because she has shot him down a few times now. She's kind of turned around and gone, "You're not doing this right. What are you doing? Like, stop being an idiot," sort of thing. It's like, well, you wouldn't say that if you were just the assistant. You wouldn't be saying that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which tells me there's more to it.
That's how it feels. I mean, like I said, there are some people, no matter what role they're in, they're gonna voice their opinion. But I just kind of feel like he's not running the operation as I'm in charge, I'm the general kind of thing. He's running it as collaborative. And her opinion is, very clear. It's been a year. Why do you think this is a trap? Now, they clearly have very clear protocols. They clearly have very clear protocols of how they speak.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like how they meet up.
The communication side of it, yeah.
Yeah, and so you see him go to this location, get in this elevator, and he finds like an earpiece, like a short range thing, and he starts talking to us like, if it's a trap, go to this floor.
Floor 125, yeah.
Clearly they know each other and they trust each other because he is saying that to him on the basis of, if you're doing this and they've set up a trap, go to this floor because I won't be there, Yeah. Otherwise, carry on to where you're going.
If there's something going on here that I need to know about, go to a floor I'm not on.
Yeah, exactly. So he obviously trusts him. Now, the guy, there is a bit of a sinister undertone to him asking about his daughter. What did you think of it? Because that felt very much like, this is, I know where your kids go to school kind of thing.
Yeah, it's similar to how he spoke to Cassian, like in that first meeting between the two of them, where he's telling him like his life story. It's almost like a kind of, would you say, intimidation tactic almost? Of like, look, we know everything,
It is that kind of feeling of, I know this about you, and I know how to hurt you without saying I'm going to hurt you.
Yeah, very
it's
much.
It's a very kind of sinister. Had a very sinister undertone, and it kind of brings me back to this good guys, bad guys grey area, which is something this show's exploring.
Yeah, what
I'm
side
loving.
of the line?
I'm absolutely loving it because when you're a kid and you watch Star Wars, the rebels are just heroes.
Yeah,
there's no. It's pure good and bad, the light, the dark, the Jedi, the Sith. That is a very clear divide. But one of the things that they're doing when they're fleshing out Star Wars as an adult, and it is for adults, because as a kid you're still gonna good guys, bad guys. You're not gonna see beyond that. But as an adult, I'm loving the nuance. I'm loving the fact that you can explore this aspect of things where actually to form a rebellion, you can't be nice guys.
Yes, I remember, like you said there, I remember being a kid watching Star Wars, and it was so simple as blue and green lightsaber, good guys, red lightsaber, bad guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was literally that straightforward. Now, if you were one of these guys running around, you'd probably have like a purpley sort of lightsaber because you're neither,
that's fair.
You're on neither side of this line, are you? Really?
No,
it's like
you are definitely channeling both.
Yeah.
But Luthen, I kind of absolutely love this scene. Now, I'm an absolute history nerd, as you know, and a fair few people listening probably will know because I've talked about this before. And one of the things I love when I'm watching sci-fi or fantasy is when I know they've kind of drawn from history. They've kind of taken something and they've put it in something like real events. Now, I'm going to be a bit of a history teacher here. In World War II, a team of British code crackers cracked the German Enigma machine. Now, the German Enigma machine was deemed unbreakable. It was perfect. It was a great way of coding all of their messages, and breaking it literally meant the Allies could win the war. Without it, we wouldn't have won. Alan Turing and his team, they managed to do it, and it meant that we were able to win the war. One of the darkest moments, though, in breaking it was the realization that sometimes they would know what the Germans were going to do, but couldn't do anything about it, because if they did, the Germans would know they'd broken the Enigma machine.
Yeah.
And there's a very famous thing about Coventry being bombed, and the fact that they had to make a decision to allow it to happen. Otherwise, the Germans would have been onto him. And now in this
if they hadn't
scene,
have allowed that to happen, and he's now got it here, this scene. So they're talking about the 50 men that are going to die. And Luthen's just so simply like, well, you're worth more than 50 men, are you're worth more than that. If we let those 50 men get the upper hand, then they're going to know that someone's selling them. We can't allow that. And it's like, wow, that really is a moment, isn't it?
It is a kind of mathematic equation that I am very thankful that I will never have to do in any walk of life. Because to break down people's lives into a mathematical equation is brutal and savage beyond belief.
Yeah.
Now, Luthen, the guy who plays Luthen, is a phenomenal actor. Okay, let's put that out there. And when you cast someone like that, in this role, when I first saw the casting for this show, knowing it was going to be about Cassian Andor, I saw this guy cast. I thought, it's going to be really interesting. I wonder what role he's going to have.
Yep.
And when we saw him playing the kind of dual role, the shopkeeper, changing his whole walk, his stance, I thought, wow, this is incredible. This is why you cast someone this good for this kind of role. But then when we get to this scene right here, where this guy's like, what are you risking? I'm risking my daughter. What are you giving up? What is your sacrifice? And he delivers, for me, one of the most powerful bits of dialogue that's ever been written and delivered in Star Wars, where he literally lays down, he's like, do you know what I'm sacrificing? Everything. Love. My chance at happiness. My chance at a life. I have literally given up everything for this cause, and I know I will be killed, and I know I will never see the dawn from this nightmare, but I am doing it anyway. So it's like, I don't know about you, but I just watched it, and I literally just sort of I paused it because I just had to stop for a minute, and I just went, wow. Wow. Like,
such a good scene.
Just so good. So well written, so well acted. And also, another thing in scenes like this is you can only deliver a scene like that, a dialogue, a monologue, if you like, that powerfully if the person who's opposite you gives back. And this guy just reacts in facial expression and in like body language. Yeah. But it's perfect. Because you can see him go from a scared guy wanting out to almost like a little bit taller. Almost like, oh, you're right. This is more than you. This is more than me. This is actually about my daughter. This is about giving her a galaxy free from this crap,
Yeah.
And it just, you talk about inspirational words, inspirational speeches, and just the ability to get his message across to him so clearly, so well. Mate, I absolutely love that scene so much. And like I said, this ISB agent, I kind of love the fact that we've got to episode 10 before we found out he was a double agent.
There is actually a mole in there, yeah.
Because we now also have the tension of knowing.
We've
when
questioned
he's there.
it on the podcast, haven't we? We've spoken to each other. So, originally we first thought that the head, the woman, her name's just gone from my mind. The blonde woman, the officer. We thought maybe she was the mole
Mira?
at first. That's it, Mira.
Yeah.
That's it.
And she's just full.
She could be the mole, and no, she's full.
No, she's got Palpatine tattooed on one of her buttocks.
Yeah,
she is absolute go for Papa Palpatine. Yeah.
Whereas now we've spoken about is there one, is there not one, and then enough time has passed for us to kind of go, there's obviously not one. And then out of nowhere, you were wrong, there is one.
Just perfect as well, because in the scene that we talked about where he talks about this is what we should do, suggestion, sir, it is actually a very solid, great suggestion. It is correct. And like when I said this woman shot him that look, I took that completely as, you've upstaged me, damn it, this is my operation. But now I'm thinking, is she onto him? Is she curious?
Yeah, is she now thinking, why is he doing that? Yeah.
Did she leave the room quickly to have him followed? So the fact that we now had this reveal, there's now this beautiful tension of this guy where we're going to be following ISB scenes and seeing him and thinking, oh no, they're onto you. They're onto you. And I love that. This show is so well written, so well done. I'm just really enjoying it.
No, I agree. I fully agree.
Good. I am pleased, because otherwise it'd be really awkward. This takes us then to the main part of the show and the thing that me and you talked about all week, which is how are they going to do this prison break?
Yeah.
How is this going to work?
Suppose we should probably talk about it, shouldn't we?
We definitely should. Now Kino, he's kind of in shock at the start of this episode. He's struggling with the realization, I'm definitely not getting out of here. None of us are. I've been working myself and other people to death for nothing. And you can see he
is a big...
Yeah, you can see he's just really struggling to get it. Or really struggling, not to get it, but really struggling with that for a moment. And when they get back on their kind of floor, Cassian's looking to him like, come on, tell everyone. You know, it needs to be you. It needs to be you. And he does say, like, none of us are getting out of there.
He kind of, like, snaps, doesn't he? It's like, I thought he wasn't going to say anything at all, and then all of a sudden he kind of just snaps and lets it all out. And you're like, damn.
I loved it. I loved, because me and you, again, we talked about it a little bit, about how good of an actor Andy Serkis is, and people tend to forget that because of his motion capture work.
Which is also fantastic.
Which is also incredible, yeah. But you kind of forget the guy is actually a very talented actor. And I cannot even begin to say how powerful he was in this episode, because you could really see his mental anguish at the realization of, I've done everything right here. I've served my time. I've done their bidding. You know, I've done everything I was supposed to do. And I'm never, like, they are going to work me to death.
Yeah.
And it's just this...
Because he had this big thing, didn't he? I've only got X amount of days left, and
you are not going to mess it up for me. Yeah. And he basically inspires everyone. You can tell when he speaks, everyone there goes, "Oh wow! If Kino's telling us this is it. You know, it's not a lie. It's not rumor. Kino's saying it. He's like almost pro guard. You know, in all the time we've been here." This is the thing.
Yeah.
And me and you again talked about what the hell was Cassian doing with this, like, pipe in his room. And I said at the time, he ain't never cutting through a big bit of metal like that. He's clearly sharpening something into a shiv. Mm-hmm. However, this week we learned that he was trying to basically separate it, and he was managing to do it, and then he beats the crap out of it.
Did he just?
and proper burst. And it's a water pipe. Now, did you cotton on straight away why he did that?
No.
I'm going to admit it. I didn't. So, water's going everywhere.
My brain went to the quite obvious thing of what happens with water and electricity.
Yeah.
Now, I used to work in a pub, and one of the managers there, one of the other managers there, was doing the kitchen check at the end of the shift.
Yeah.
And they had just mopped all the floor. So the floor was wet, and he pulled one of the cookers out to check behind it, make sure there's no food there, and something went wrong, and it basically snapped a wire as he pulled it from the wall. The wire hit the water and blew him 6 foot across the room.
Ow. Yeah.
Like, he wasn't touching the machinery and stuff, he just had his feet in the water. And he was wearing, like, stupid shoes or whatever, so he didn't have the rubber soles, whatever.
Yeah.
But one of the chefs was like, he flew. Like, actually, like, someone had picked him up and thrown him about 6 foot across the room from it.
Yeah.
So in my head, I've just seen water going everywhere, and I'm going, they've got an electric floor.
Yeah.
Why has Andor just fried them all? What is going on?
It's funny. Now, a similar story to what you just said. My brother worked as a nurse for many years, and someone he remembers a story clearly of a junior doctor, like a trainee, standing in. Basically, someone went into cardiac arrest and knocked this huge jug of water everywhere. And the guy grabbed the chest paddles while standing in water.
Ooh!
And literally shot, like, across the room.
Yeah.
And it shorted all the everything. And so, similar to you, like that, my mind went to that. Now, the other thing, which is funny, because once it was on the floor, I suddenly thought to myself, any circuit or anything like that, the minute it and you get that current and it comes back, it shuts off. Yeah. Like, it literally will burn out. So I was thinking to myself, oh my God, this is genius.
Yeah, like, isn't it just?
We were thinking to ourselves, how in the hell are they ever going to do this? How? And you remember them talking about, right, the lift is going to get about halfway down, it's not electrified. Yep. So we'll jam it, and that's where we'll attack them. And I kept thinking to myself, why would you do that? Now I know, because they know they were going to electrify the floor. They know it would eventually short, but not straight away. It'd take a minute to short out. And they would have jumped up to this lift panel to take the guy out, and they'd have been off the floor. Now, as it is, because now everybody in the room is in on it, they jump up on the tables. So
now this is my question for you, okay? So,
yeah.
Now, if they hadn't have managed to get everyone on board with this,
yeah, some of them would have just got cooked.
That's a lot of people that have just been fried on the spot.
Well, it's a rebellion, man. 50 people are going to get killed just to,
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I think one guy gets fried.
Yeah.
One guy gets fried, a lot gets shot. And it's funny because me and you talked a little bit about, I think this is one of those shows, don't get attached to people. And it's like, there's a whole group that he's had around this table for a few episodes, and we've been like, I wonder how many of them are going to get out. No, one of them's going to get out. Cassian +1.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah.
Like,
but yeah, so people are just dropping. I loved Kino attack. He literally gives the order, attack! And they're throwing everything they can to try and put the guys off. I mean, they're literally throwing bits of metal at guys with blasters.
I love it. It's like screws and wrenches and bolts and discs and just
anything. Everything that's not nailed down, they are launching. And it's working because, of course, yes, one or two are getting shot, but they're distracting them enough that Cassian is able to climb up there, take one of them out, shoot him, and then shoot the other one.
Yeah.
But the thing I also love about Cassian with this as well is, and again, this goes to the writing of the show, when the guy hits the ground, Cassian shoots the other guy in the leg. So it's not like perfect headshots every time. It's reality based of, he literally just fired it to stop this other guy from shooting other people. And then when the guy's on the ground, then he kills him.
Yeah.
It's just, everything feels very... I know it's Star Wars and sci-fi, but it feels real. It feels realistic. Like, this is how it would happen.
Yeah, and again we see Cassian just kill two people straight out.
Yeah,
then another guy gets killed later, and then it's...
Yeah.
There's no kind of, moral compass. This is just straight out survival. I'm getting out of here. How are you getting out of here? Bang, you're dead. Bang, you're dead. Yeah.
Yeah. It just... And... I love the fact that they then start opening up every floor. Cassian and Kino charge because they know they need to get to the control room. So they push, they get there.
Mate, that's a hell of a lot of stairs.
That's a hell of a lot of stairs.
I think I'd rather work for 400 shifts. A lot of stairs. A lot of stairs.
It's all right. I think it was a stand of stair lift. We just didn't see it.
Oh, that's all right.
I think it was off screen. Now, I, again... absolutely loved the scene where they burst in there. There's three guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the main guy is kind of giving it the, what? I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what to do. And they shoot one.
Oh, yeah, he says, turn it off. Well, that could mean lots of things.
I know.
Bang. Oh, yeah, okay, got it.
And then the other guy just goes, I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's like, I am not dying for this. But again, it's like this... rebels, man. They're killing everyone.
It's the fact the guy behind the desk, they're talking about, shut it down. Okay. No, shut it all down. Yeah. Oh, I can't. It's hydro-powered.
Yeah.
So shut it down. But it'll take months.
It'd take a month to restart. Cassian's, look on Cassian's face, like, really, dude? really?
And he's just straight up like, no, it's him, that guy there.
Yeah, that guy right there. That's the one you need to speak to. What did you think to them leaving the two of them there? I mean, part of me was like, couldn't they? Although I know they said it'd take a month to restart. Part of me did think surely they could have lied. Surely these two guys could hit a load of buttons and alert the mainland or whatever.
It's definitely a concern there. Like, is that a bit of naivety on the fact they were just so excited with the let's escape side of it?
I think it's just let's get the flock out of here.
Yeah.
To be honest. Now, this brings me to the next part of the thing. Me and you talked. How did they get off the place? They reveal in this there's 5,000 inmates in this platform. So let's say 4,750 have survived taking the place.
Yeah.
By the way, did you also notice the scene with all the guards hiding from them?
Loved that
little scene. Just throw away all just panicking.
They're looking in each window. I'm guessing they're looking for more prisoners to free. And he kind of looks in this door, then walks away, and it's like, okay, no one in there. No. There's the 12 guards from that floor, all together, all hiding by the door.
Yeah.
Like,
and it completely proves Cassian's point of there's not enough of them.
Yeah.
You know, there are 5,000 of us. You know, just fight, and it works. But one of the things we talked about is like, even if they hijack a ship, you're not getting everyone in one ship.
No.
What are you going to have to do? You just keep going backwards and forwards with that one ship and hope no one notices that all of a sudden no one's working on this platform anymore?
Yeah. Yeah.
But they don't. They swim for it. They get to the edge and they're all jumping in. And I was kind of like, oh, wow, okay, I suppose if you know there's a mainland and you can just swim for it, I get it. But there's probably, I don't know, man, I find this scene a little bit heartbreaking.
Oh, mate. Oh, I messaged you like, oh, dude, heartbroken.
Yeah.
Heartbroken for the dude.
Kino has played a massive role in this prison break. Kino's realization of what's going on. He then rallies his floor and then he rallies the entire building by delivering a message over the tannoy system. Yeah. It is Kino who basically gets this to happen.
And I love the fact that he used the sentence Cassian gave him earlier as well. That I'd rather die taking over this place than giving them what they want and stuff. And I was like, yes.
And it's a brilliant line. I mean, that, again, it's just such good writing. He just looks at Cassian's looking at him, what is it? And he's like, I can't swim. And I don't know, Cassian's sort of trying to stop himself to talk to him, but ends up just getting bundled over.
Yeah.
And we're left with Kino just stood there. So, is he going to end up staying? He's going to end up, I mean, they're going to kill him. I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. I don't know what to think. I'm like devastated. This guy played this massive role and was such a good character.
And he is, I mean, he said the whole time, like, I'm already dead.
Yeah.
Was that because he realised that was the only way out and that he couldn't go? Or
I don't know.
But yeah, the fact that he gets to the end, can't swim, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No, not after all of this. You're then trapped there completely. I'm like,
Because I thought to myself, Cassian's going to go, right, quick, get to the roof then, and they'd steal a ship. And I was thinking, that kind of works. Cassian, this guy, maybe a few of them will grab a ship and they'll leave together. Everyone else is jumping off, you know? And I kind of thought, that's going to work well. But then Cassian gets bundled over and I'm like, oh, damn. Oh, man. It was just... It was heartbreaking because he was such a good character, and he inspired it. You know, I know Cassian was in his ear, but Cassian even said, like, it has to be you. Yeah. It has to be you.
And it was. I really hope something happened, and therefore, like, in season 2 or something, in a couple of years' time or whatever, we bump into this guy again. Just so we know he got off there. Just so we know.
And he's a stormtrooper.
Oh, God. He stayed on, and that's what happened.
Well, perhaps this is an origin story for Snoke after all.
Maybe.
He gets left behind and just becomes evil and twisted.
They
anyway.
all left me. Yeah.
Yeah. The final scene of the episode is kind of fun, which is Cassian is with Melshi. Now, Melshi is a character who is in Rogue One.
Yes.
He is part of Cassian's strike team that, that all comes together to help Jyn Erso. So we know that this guy is with Cassian now and is with the rebellion later on. So that was kind of fun, that they've ended up leaving together, and you see them running across sand. Basically, they've made it to land.
But
now
mate, there is no town or building in sight.
Now they are just running and hoping, I think.
Yeah.
They're going to run into somebody at some point. So
we might survive, maybe. Let's just run in that direction and hope.
Well, it's one of those things where it's kind of like, you stay there, you're dead. So at least this is a chance.
What I also loved was, this is just me being silly, but what I loved was, I thought, oh my god, look, there's like spotlights out for them already.
Yeah.
No, there's just like a million different moons to that planet.
Yeah, it was very cool. Yeah,
like,
it was a very cool visual. A bit like when you sort of see like Tatooine for the first time.
The three
it's like,
suns. Yeah,
it's awesome. So there we go. I'm loving the show so much. It's just got everything for me that I enjoy, and it's built brilliantly. Like episode 1 is kind of like, oh, okay, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, I kind of know the characters, I get what's going on, and then from 4 or 5, like every week, I've been more and more engrossed. And every week I'm kind of like, when's the next one?
Yeah,
Come on.
Like for me, this is up there now, challenging Mando for the best Disney series.
Lofty, but it's fair, I think.
I would put it above Boba. That's just for you, Graham. Just for you. I'd put it above the Boba Fett Book of Boba. I would put it above Book of Boba. That was a good show, but this is kind of like next level. Mando is still just about surviving as the number 1 show, but depending how these 2 next episodes go, I wouldn't be surprised if this actually overtook it. Just purely on how good the writing for it has been.
Yeah, it has been really, really very good, and I'm delighted, because when I saw the premise of it and everything, I kind of thought this could be really hit and miss. It's kind of like, if you do this, you make this too cheesy and goofy, it's going to really diminish Rogue One.
Yeah.
But they've not. For me, they've nailed it. They're doing so well. But mate, I think I've covered everything I wanted to cover. Is there any other bits and pieces you wanted to discuss?
No, I really just quickly touch on the fact that obviously we see his mum still being watched. Yeah. Did you hear about the fact that she's refusing medication because it's saying it's not making her want to eat or something? So she's still incredibly stubborn woman. Do you reckon we're going to see her again in the show, or do you reckon it's just a case of...
Yeah, no, I think so. Well, I'll tell you one thing that did cross my mind is that she dies, and that's what brings Cassian back.
Yeah.
That did cross my mind, or she's very unwell.
And that's why he comes back for her. Yeah.
Which is a concern, because we know there's 2 groups that are literally waiting to grab him.
Yeah.
One to interrogate, one to murder. So...
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah,
but
he makes friends everywhere he goes.
That's true. And I just want to know if Pixie's okay.
And of course you do, because you're in love with her. Anyway, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody for listening, except for Graham. You can go fuck yourself. Yeah. I will be back next week. We're talking more Andor, more Star Wars. Mate, until then, you take care.
And may the Force be with you.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast.
Hello there.
We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.